So now you're here again, knocking at my door.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Paul Whitehorn with Dent Repair USA, and today we're going to be talking about the absolute limitation of paintless dent repair. Now, you have to understand, this is speaking in generalities. All right, as soon as I say something can't be repaired, there's going to be a technician out there that's going to say that they can do this. And the reality is that in a lot of cases, things that we're saying cannot be done, they can be done, but it really deals with it being cost effective, all right, and the time consumption that it's going to take in order for this repair to happen, or the removal and reinstallation of parts. How far are you really willing to go in order to get that dent repaired? Let's get into it. I mean, essentially there are 5 primary things that we can't do, and you shouldn't be surprised if a paintless dent repair technician tells you no. The first one is we can't repaint your car, okay? We may be able to fix the dent, but if you have major paint loss, don't pressure a paintless dent repair technician into a job that you're not going to be happy with. In fact, how the magic of paintless dent repair happens from a technical perspective is essentially we're reading the paint. So if you have paint loss that's in there and the technician is doing any pushing or any of that, it's really educated guesses in the areas where there's paint loss. So really and truly, you want the most experienced technician, which is going to be the most expensive technician that you can purchase, for something that really and truly you want to cost less. And so for those reasons, a lot of times if you have major paint loss, and when I say major paint loss, I mean essentially, if you have like the size of your thumb that's missing paint on your car, that's too much, in my opinion. Touch-up paint, no matter how good, is still going to be noticeable. Now, there are some things that we can do to reduce that. The first thing is by getting a fresh mix of your color code from a body shop. It always looks 10 times better than the little bitty jars that you buy at the dealership, or that you order on Amazon based on your color code. And the reason for that is actually pretty simple. Those jars are made to be warehoused and sold within 10 years. So realistically, they put a lot of preservatives, and those preservatives are very shiny. So what we can do is we can get a higher end top coat that is an exact match, that has a flatter background so that the eye won't pick it up. So I mean, the human eye sees over 7 million colors. Another major limitation that we have is working on a vehicle that's been repainted. Now, that all depends on the type of body shop that was chosen in order to do that repair. Realistically, on a paint gauge, a typical vehicle is going to be reading 140 to 110 MUs. Okay, and an MU is essentially 1/100th of a mil, and that is from the top of the clear coat all the way until you're hitting either aluminum or steel. Okay, so when you're dealing with any kind of repaint situation, the repaint is typically going to be in the 200s if it's an amazing body shop. Okay, this is high end. The painter really cared about that vehicle, to 600, where they just didn't care. They put a lot of fillers and stuff in there. So as you increase that density from the bottom all the way to the top, you start decreasing what I can do as a technician. We cannot repair parts that do not function properly, okay? And that includes your door opening up and hitting your fender and things like that. As a general rule, I mean, there are always exceptions to these, but the reality is, if the windows don't roll up or down, okay, that's actually a huge thing. Especially if it's a door dent, we can't get to your repair at all unless we're gonna pull the door panel off, and go. Doors that won't open due to collision. This might seem obvious to some people, but the reality is that these are inquiries that I get on a weekly basis as a professional dent repair technician. Brackets and panels that have been moved in the unibody. That's essentially Okay, so let's say your fender got hit and rocked, and the brackets and everything that were in there got moved a little bit. Okay, there's not a lot that I can do. Correction, there's not a lot that I will do for something that's a little more involved than that. And a lot of that has to do with safety. Okay, so now that bracket has been bent, I've bent that bracket back, and these vehicles now are more like computers than they are, even 10, 15 years ago. So there's a lot of sensors in there, and all of those sensors, airbag sensors and everything else rely on them being exactly in a specific position. And so 99% of the time I will not mess with any of that. Another one is, metal that's been folded back on top of itself. We cannot do heavy collision damage when the metal has been that contorted. So number 3, replacement of major parts. Okay, this includes, but it's not limited to, headlights, glass, bumpers. Okay, now we will remove doors, hatches, hoods, headliners, any and all interior trim. Sunroofs I'll take down. I will take out a headlight. I will put a headlight back in. I will take a tail light out. I will put a tail light back in. And under really strange circumstances, if you've purchased a tail light and you broke your tail light and you have a dent repair, I will come back in there and essentially reinstall a new one for you. But there is going to be a charge for that. Number 4, crumple zone damage near edges. Edges are the Achilles heel of paintless dent repair, in my opinion. Okay, they're difficult. I mean, we can do major improvements, but not 100% perfect. And I'm talking about my perfect, not your perfect. Okay, so my 80% repair is to your naked eye, is going to be, perfect. But in reality, if we throw the magnifying glass down on it, and as technicians we're together looking, we're going to see some errors. But again, a lot of times it's not, you're going to be satisfied with that repair in most cases. It depends on the exact area that got hit, the type of metal, and a bunch of other factors. Primarily, it's going to be a metal issue and location issue. Number 5, working on panels with moved intrusion beams. Okay, so intrusion beams, essentially is your vehicle's inner shell. It's basically the skeleton, the structural skeleton of your vehicle. If one of these beams has been significantly damaged or moved, paintless dent repair may still, a lot of times I can repair the damage. So like, let's say your door gets hit, right, and you're seeing a line there. Well, really what that is that's the intrusion beam, where the outer skin has essentially molded itself, or through quasi-static denting. Sorry to throw a really big word out there, but essentially where it has hit that outer shell and created a crease. Now, if this is very light, most of the times we're able to remove it, and but the first thing that I'm looking at, so I'll pull your car door off, I'll look at that intrusion beam, and if that beam has been moved in any kind of significant way, I won't do the repair. I don't charge you to look. Then it becomes a safety issue. I'm not going to make $1,000 and put you in jeopardy, for any amount of money, is what I'm trying to get at there. So now, edges are very difficult for technicians. Essentially, any place where the metal of the panel has a 90-degree turn is tough. But again, it doesn't mean that these can't be repaired. It just means that this is why almost all the technicians are asking you for images, okay? And really what they're asking for is they want to see the location of that dent, and they want to see how severely it has been struck and from different angles. So now let's get on to the next vlog.